Hello and welcome to another endless endurance race, this time in the Porsche 963 LMDh, and this particular race is in that car's exclusive series. So of course you have to be fully upgraded, and we'll get into all of that as far as costs and such later. So Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course is generally possible in fast cars. So generally you need to have, pretty fast cars. I think the first car I did this in was the Koenigsegg 1-1. I want to say that's the first one I did this in. It might have been possible in cars prior to that, but for me, I remember doing it in that car. Now, in that car and in other cars like that, I would generally take 2 cuts. However, I'm not going to do that this time. So my target distance, 129.23. Based on my math, I'm going to hit $250,000 that way. Guess we'll see, right? And this is the only cut that I would take. Anything other than that is unnecessary and was going to probably start to slow you down and hurt your fame per minute. That particular corner, it's a sharp 90-degree corner, and you'll really get tangled up with traffic if you try to keep it on track. So coming up here at corner 1, I used to cut that quite a lot, and in some cars I'd say it's necessary. I'd say it's not in this one. In fact, I'd say it might even be detrimental. So I'm keeping it on track, also because this car has insane braking ability, just incredible braking ability. So it's not hard to take that corner properly. A lot of these corners, you gotta, it's a really good car. I'll say that. It's not the Porsche 919 Hybrid Evo, that is for sure. But still, this corner right here, I was surprised how quickly I could get back to the gas. That really shocked me. And then, oh, nuts. Okay, so I didn't mean to take that cut. What happened was, I hit that area, I went in there too fast, and I could tell that I was going to hit the grass. I made an immediate decision to go up to the left and continue my lap there. To correct and get back on the track where I was would have meant losing more time. So I've talked about this in different videos, but you really have to be prepared in races like this if you want to maximize your earnings. And that means even knowing, okay, what's my backup decision if I make a mistake? And so I've done that before. That's never an advantageous cut, but I know I've used it before, so I made a very quick decision and it paid off. And ooh, that's a tight little pass, isn't it? Okay, so the purchase price of this car, $2.65 million dollars. But you can earn it in a limited series, and that's going to cost you 495 gold, just over 1.6 million dollars. Rewards of 80 gold, 170,000 dollars. Total cost after rewards, 415 gold and about 1.46 million dollars. Now, if you don't plan on upgrading this car and you just want to own it, I guess you could just buy it. For me, I'm not going to buy a car without upgrading it, generally speaking, so I'd rather earn it, even though I understand where some people are coming from. They would rather just get the car now, maybe wait for a sale, something like that. Total cost to fully upgrade from scratch, 1,275 gold and just shy of 2 million dollars, which honestly isn't bad for a car like this. I think in another video I was comparing this to the Ferrari SP3 Daytona, which is quite a lot more, like at least another 300-400 gold to fully upgrade it, nowhere near the performance. So there are multiple cars where you're spending 1,600 gold to fully upgrade them, and they don't drive near as good as this. So honestly, I think this is a good deal for this car, especially since M currency is quite easy to get versus R currency as far as racking up the currency pretty quick. Now we're going to warp ahead here to the Perpetual Point, and if you're unfamiliar with that, well, you'll see this is what happens after a normal endurance race where you run out of cars. This is what happens just after that, is suddenly they're all tightly grouped together again. And this happens after you pass 42 cars. That's it. It has nothing to do with how far you've traveled. You just have to pass 42 cars. And look at that, they're very tightly grouped. So if you don't pass those 42 cars quick enough, you will run out of cars. That's why we take cuts, to trigger the endless endurance race. And reason for doing this, so it's sometimes just nice to do it all in one race. Also, farming can get really boring. In most cup races, there's really not much of a challenge, like in those 19 or 20 lap cup races for the Formula 1 2022 cars. It's not hard to be in the lead. If you give everyone like a 1 minute lead, well then the race is just taking longer. More of a challenge though, even if you do everything like keep it all on track, like never take 2 tires off track. All those things do make it more interesting, but these are the hardest bots you can face. Like, we're going to get into this, but when you get past the Perpetual Point, that's the most difficult cars you're ever going to face in the game unless you do online multiplayer. So you just see this, like they're much faster at the start. Now watch this, I'm on the gas first, I'm gaining, suddenly he's pulling away. So why would that happen? I should be passing him. That's because they're faster than a fully upgraded car. And that's what makes this so interesting, is that they are a lot faster. Now they're bad in the corners, which is a really big reason. Like, there's your evidence as to why you don't want to be using assists. Really, if you have assists on at all, this won't be possible. Even steering assist low will give you trouble when you are off track. So for this race, all my assists are off, tilt beat controls, and I've recently changed to steering sensitivity 1 as my standard setting. Now, I really was going to go right down to 0, but when I get in the McLaren MP4X, I need to drop my sensitivity more, and I'd love to be able to drop it by 3 notches, but I can't go -2. And so that adjustment is very difficult. Same with McLaren MP44, basically any pre-2019 open wheel cars. You need to lower your steering sensitivity for those cars. Anyhow, so here we are, we warped ahead some more, just so you can see how things are going. Obviously, I didn't have trouble filling up my timer. Like, you know, it's not that difficult, for me at least. Here you can always get a car or two. That's because, of course, of that cut. But and then powering down here, the bots drive away. Even if you're fully, well, you can't do this unless you're fully upgraded. But they're faster than fully upgraded. Now we're warping ahead to where I'm going to be hitting the 100-kilometer mark, and it looks pretty bleak sometimes. But that's just because they get very far ahead of me heading into the corner 1, because they've got so much more speed than I do. I'm not really sure. I've never been able to find out how much of a boost they get. I'd say it's probably 5%, but who knows? Could even be 10% as far as their acceleration, because it's quite surprising. Like, even when I'm drafting or slipstreaming here, like this guy, and then nope. You know what? That might be just like 5%. I wouldn't be surprised. And that's easy for them to do. Like, we've had lots of races where they've like a special event where they say, oh, you've now got boosted speed, or you've now got boosted grip. So that's easy for them to do, and it makes for some more interesting racing. This is probably some of my favorite racing to do, because you're facing really difficult cars and it's a challenge. So for me, this helps the farming to go by. So we'll just see how accurate my math is, going 129.23. That might be cutting it razor close to 250,000. I've never gotten exactly 250,000 M dollars for one race. So we're going to see what's that's like here anyway. Oh, nuts. Okay, well, I just cracked my windshield, I'm sure. We're going to... Oh, I lost it there. Oh yeah, so it's cracked. Not major cracks, but I just lost performance in all categories. So I just got a reduction in speed, acceleration, grip, and brakes. And so we've got to make some adjustments. That was stage 1. The cracks weren't huge. There's more damage. And once you hit maximum damage, you can't get any more damaged. So then you don't really have to care if you bump past people and stuff like that. It doesn't matter, because you can't get any more damaged. And so we'll see here. Oh yeah, my speed's fallen off there. Not too badly though. Not too bad of a fall off actually. So even at this point, I do not have stage 2 damage. Well, okay, I just got it. We're obviously going to wrap this up pretty quick, but look how close the bots are. So when you run fast back-to-back lap times, this starts to happen. They get even closer in their groupings, but it's after subsequent back-to-back fast laps. So I don't know, 5, 6, 10 laps fast. Ooh, there you can see I've got maximum damage now. Way more cracks than when we last checked, but that's okay. So now I would have probably a 10 kilometer an hour loss on the start-finish straight. Now, as soon as I hit 129.23, we're going to pause the game for just a brief second. After that, I throw it to a skid. I come back and end right at that point. Won't show you all that because it's boring. And then I time this from green light to this point. So that is 30 minutes and 36 seconds, which means I was getting 943 fame per minute. That's pretty good. Now let's check this out. Ooh, I got that close. I get about 1.9346 M dollars per meter, so I'm within a few meters of not reaching my target. That's the closest I ever got. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe, check out some other videos, and join me next time.